The First World War was a grotesque time set amidst the beautiful fields, towns and farms of Europe. Like all wars before and since, young men fought and died, including those from distant lands brought into the fray to defend what they believed to be their freedom and the rights of the mother country.
Before we go on, I'd like to introduce you to the heads of the department. Fung here is our DP for tonight. Clint is our executive producer. David, our director, is down here. Tonight we will be setting off some explosions in this area here where you see the witches' hats. They may move. So basically from where you are now, from here, is a red hot section.
So the beginning of the film has all of our guys during all the excitement stuff, all the ordnance and stuff, and then the rest of the story is about Richmond and his ghost.
Writer-director David Sander conceived Ghosts of War to explore the idea that those who fought had to separate the man with his humanity and the man as soldier.
So there needs to be a strong light from here.
Yeah, I'm going to use that one. I'm going to kill that one.
Yep.
Just going to do it under light from here. Just go fire.
Are you going to face on, or are you thinking, what sort of angle are you thinking?
Jesus, scared me half to death.
Maybe around here, and then come around here. He turns.
Right, yep.
That sort of stuff. Pulls out the wallet. He's got a bit of reaction and stuff, and okay, coast is clear. I can be myself now instead of soldier.
Standing by for rehearsal. Camera rehearsal. Sorted, we're shooting.
Alright. Standing by.
Here we go. Roll sound.
Rolling.
Roll camera.
11, take one.
Mark. And set.
Action.
This short film deals with the idea that all men who go to war must divide themselves into two people. He who is to go off to war to kill the enemy of his nation, and he who retains the sensibilities of care, compassion, individuality, and humanity. From the trenches, Magdalena Rose reports on the shoot.
It's only from being on the set of Ghosts of War that one can truly appreciate the scale of this production and the level of authenticity which has been achieved in making this short film and bringing the director David Sander's vision into fruition. It's quite remarkable to be here, especially with this World War I trench behind me. It has been recreated honouring every minute historical detail, from the barbed wire to the sandbags to the crew member constantly hosing down the soil to recreate that true, genuine muddy terrain. And it also must be said that the cast are wearing genuine World War I uniforms. There's a certain level of energy here tonight that I guess only comes from bringing the Anzac legend back to life.
Fire.
Keep moving! Keep moving! Place up against that parapet! Come on, move! Move! Jesus Christ! Move! Joe, where the hell is everybody?
ANZAC stands for Australian and New Zealand Army Corps. The soldiers came to be known as Anzacs. The pride they took in that name endures to this day, and Anzac Day on April 25 remains one of the most important national occasions of both Australia and New Zealand.
Cut. Thank you. Reset. Thank you.
The Australian War Memorial in Canberra is a world-class museum and research archive. It is Australia's main site of commemoration for the servicemen and women who have died during war. To help prepare for the Ghosts of War production, actor Graham Brissett accompanies the director on a research trip.
Yeah, there was revolutions going on.
Graham, whose family continues to see active war duty and whose great-uncle died in World War I, and David, whose great-uncle also died in World War I, both have a deep personal passion for the subject.
Where they're fighting, for instance, it's a graveyard, it's a cemetery.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of a worse place to fight.
Digging trenches would be a bit of an adventure.
It's not so much that, it's the fact...
The memorial's exquisite displays give them many visual details of the trench to be shown in the film.
The purpose of the Australian War Memorial is to commemorate the service and the sacrifice of Australian servicemen and women throughout conflicts. And this first entry wall, when you walk into the memorial, almost represents a timeline of historical photographs of Australia's involvement in conflicts from the First World War through to modern day, such as Iraq and Afghanistan. This particular photograph is quite well known. It's taken on the Western Front in France, and it shows the Australians lined up, and you can see all their uniforms outlined, and you can see that each Australians were known for their larrikin spirit, and you can tell in this photo each of them has a slightly different uniform, slightly different way of wearing it, which is very different to the experience of the British troops at the time.
Following Anzac Day and Remembrance Day services, families often place red poppies beside the names of relatives on the memorial's roll of honour. In Australia, sprigs of rosemary are often worn on lapels, and in New Zealand, poppies have taken on this role.
So we've got a flannel shirt, Bedford cord trousers.
Yep.
We've got the proper tunic, complete with webbing.
Yep.
His mess tin.
Yep.
His hat, which has got a hessian cover to make it look like it's a sandbag. With the camouflage.
Yeah, camouflage, yeah.
His puttees, his boots,
Oh, yeah.
his St Christopher medal. No dog tags, can't see dog tags,
Well, they probably couldn't take them off the soldier.
of course.
He'd need them.
Is that standard issue spoon and fork?
Oh, no, not really. They were probably issued with something that,
Yeah.
as you lose it,
Yeah.
you just replace it with whatever.
And his beautiful family photos in a little wallet of his.
Yep.
Okay, that's his tobacco pouch there.
Yeah.
His matches, welcome nugget.
Look,
Welcome
it
nugget.
could well
yeah.
be tobacco because tobacco came in tins.
So-
the pouch was a personal item.
Okay. He's got his Leinfeld 303.
Yep. Short magazine, 303.
Right.
Lithgow model,
How many rounds in the magazine?
10.
And what's also missing is his bayonet.
Well, his bayonet's on the webbing.
Oh, of course, it's there, along with... What's the other thing? Is that a trenching tool?
That's the entrenching tool handle.
Right, the handle. Where's the head?
The head is kept in, there's a kidney-shaped pouch at the back just over his bum.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. I've seen that. Yep.
Yeah.
On the lapels, he's got Australia. Oh,
Rising
sorry,
sun
epaulets.
badges.
Rising sun badges, and on the epaulette, he's got the Australia.
Yep. The Australia flash. Little map of Australia with Australian Imperial Forces.
Oh. It's covered in mud. He never washed it. So what we've got here is an example of what the colour of the soil and the clay was in that area. Thank you very much, Private Giles.
Indeed. I'd buy you a beer if I knew where you were, buddy.
Yep.
The authenticity of the World War I trench and uniforms of the cast is impressive, the result of years of research and obsessive collecting by the reenactment group, which Graham has been part of for 10 years.
10 years, yeah. We started as only a few guys, but we just built ourselves up to a few numbers here, and we've got various other guys scattered around the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does the group go out and camp or live the history?
Yeah,
so to
when
speak?
we can, we have a trench up at Old Sydney Town, have a few camps up there, and just try and live the life and try and get the feel of what the guys went through. Quite often we'll give talks to kids and children and adults. Find it fascinating. They ask lots of questions. You tell them some of the experiences the guys had or the equipment they used, and they look at it and they shake their heads and think, how'd they stand it? They had each other. That's what it was all about. Quite often when people who have had relatives serve and they see us and they come over to ask us more, to learn more of what their relatives have been through, and tell us about their history, and that's more adding to knowledge.
Anzac Day was first commemorated at the Australian War Memorial in 1942. But due to government orders preventing large public gatherings in case of Japanese air attack, it was a small affair and was neither a march nor a memorial service. Anzac Day has been annually commemorated at the Australian War Memorial ever since. 324,000 Australian men served overseas in World War I, and nearly 62,000 never came home. Lest we forget.